Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. I'm abruptly jumping on. I'm abruptly jumping on. So what I want to talk about here is an article that's just come out in the mainstream media. Well, it wasn't today, actually. It was like 2 days ago or something. Now, let me just share this headline with you, and I'll share this with you guys again shortly. So the main I want to try and keep this relatively short as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article. I'm going to give you guys commentary on it. And I'm also going to tell you guys what, I'll tell you right now what you should be getting. Food, water, and fuel. Food, when you're thinking about food that you guys need to get, it's not what you think. Nobody in the United Kingdom is going to run out of food. Nobody should run out of water. However, I do think our water supply is going to be sabotaged. I would speculate it's already been happening. You've just not been told it's been sabotaged. So food, water, and fuel. By fuel, I mean petrol, diesel, and gas, because the prices of those things are absolutely rocketing. We've not seen the end to that. Those prices are going to go up and up and up and up and up. And that's where we are. So if you have a diesel car particularly, I do think there's a strong case that diesel will just be taken off the shelves. You won't be able to get diesel because that diesel will go to the military, it will go to the economy, it will go to the government basically, because everything runs on diesel. So I'm going to read this article from the Daily Mail that was published yesterday. As the conflict in Iran spreads throughout the Middle East, fears are growing that the world may soon spiral yeah, I think there will be a warning, like, where are they coming from? Now, scientists reveal what you really need in your emergency kit if you are preparing for World War III. So this is backed by science, ladies and gentlemen. This is backed by science. The government website, a household emergency plan, reveals a list of emergency supplies such as bottled water, wet wipes, and non-perishable food. Okay, right. Where do I even go with this? That's not some dystopian hellscape. That is the reality. Britain, under Keir Starmer and David Lammy, Keir Starmer's the Prime Minister and David Lammy's the second Deputy Prime Minister. Will be waging a war against the Russians with an asymmetric contingent internally. What I mean by that is we won't just be fighting on, foreign soil. There will be asymmetric attacks in the United Kingdom from homegrown entities. So having bottled water and wet wipes, as per this government advice, is fine. Lash yourselves up with bottled water and wet wipes. one of the things you need is an escape plan, all right? Because if you live in one of those high-risk areas, a big town, a big city with huge amounts of with a large amount of diverse populations, like we saw in Sheffield the other day, when community tensions then boil over into the school and there's huge fights break out. Let's not forget what happened in Harhills, like last year or the year before in Leeds. So for those of you guys who don't know, these are the things that are already happening, right, on our streets. I say World War IV will be fought on our streets. People, people don't really understand what I'm talking about. There's going to be World War III fought in Ukraine, in the Middle East. You guys can see that happening right now. World War IV will be the conflict on our streets. It won't be using guns. It won't be tanks. It won't be airstrikes. Well, it might be airstrikes. That's going to be fought. So, and one thing that nobody said that, yes, of course, get your bottled water and your wet wipes. Something that's more important than that is make sure you're not in those, in those violent tracks. Now, according to scientists, this list omits some very important items that could be crucial for your survival. So, if the United Kingdom goes into lockdown, a gas-powered generator could provide a key backup power source, while a face mask could help filter out harmful smoke. Fuel. I'm going to keep coming on to that, guys, all right? Fuel. People, be honest, wherever you are right now, if all the petrol stations closed and your gas supply got cut off because somebody cut into it with a whatever, would you be able, what would you do? With no fuel? Fuel is a huge thing, guys, okay? Electricity as well. Now, our house backs onto a woods, and I know the farm, I know the farmer. It is a woods. It's those woods that are between two fields. It's quite a big. It's a really big one of them. It's just strip wood basically. I know the farmer who owns the fields, and he lets me go in there. Any dead wood, any wood that's fallen down, he's got no problem with me taking that. If anything, it does him a favor. And honestly, I thank my lucky stars that we live near that woods. I know not everybody's going to be in that situation, right? I know that a lot of Gen Zs, a lot of millennials, when they were choosing a house, they weren't choosing it like I was choosing and thinking, right, how do I defend this in the case of World War III, zombie apocalypse, or alien apocalypse? I get that, right? However, that's what people need to be thinking about now. Watch a TV, right? Watch a TV and get internet access. So if you guys are thinking what to get ready, here's what actual scientists have been saying. And listen, guys, if you're just jumping on for the first time, I'm going through now a list that was published, an article that was published by the Daily Mail yesterday. And they're saying what scientists are saying that the items you guys need to prepare in the case of World War III. And I will put the link to this in the description below. So in fact, you know what? I'll do it now. Give me a second. Copy. Right. Let me just paste this into the article. Edit. Give me a second, guys. I'll paste this in. Because if I don't do it now, I will absolutely forget. Right, so paste, save. Hang on. Patience Pays has become a new member. Thank you very much, Patient Pays, with your fantastic art picture as your thumbnail. Thank you for becoming a member. I've just actually done a new members. I've just done a members only video. That'll be uploaded pretty soon. Well, listen, guys, if you're jumping on for the first time, I'm going with this article here that was, when was this published? It was published, I think, yesterday. So here's what scientists say you really need in your emergency kit if you're getting ready for World War III. I'm going off that, and I'm giving commentary. So the government's website, preparecampaign.gov. Do you know what? I'll also put that in there. Have you guys been on the government's website? They've been telling us in advance what's coming. The government have absolutely been telling us what's coming in advance. Right. I'll put this in the description as well. So this is the government's own website. The advice is very generic. There's no real tailored advice in there. It is very generic. However, it's better than nothing, right? And I will put that in the. Somebody remind me closer to the end of the live stream, and I'll put that in the end of the I'll put it in the link in the description. Right. So from that website, the government aims to make sure people are aware of risks in their local area so they can plan appropriately. Emergencies happen every day, and in the United Kingdom and across the world, it explains on its website. They can be caused by severe weather or natural hazards, or by deliberate actions, or as a result of accidents or infrastructure failures. These events can happen quickly and are over in a few hours, or they can develop and continue over the course of several days, weeks, months, or even years. The site links to a printable household emergency plan that includes a list of 9 emergency supplies. According to the government, you'll need a battery or wind-up torch. We have them on our TikTok shop, guys. If like on our showcase on TikTok, like we've got them. I've not found them cheaper anywhere else. A portable power bank, a battery or wind-up radio, and spare batteries. In addition, your emergency kit should include first aid kit, wet wipes and hand sanitizer, bottled water, non-perishable food that does not require cooking, and a tin opener. And finally, if you have a baby, your kit should include supplies like nappies and, baby formula. Also, pets, elderly. People don't think about them. People who are vulnerable in your community. Like, have you got a nanan, right, that may or may not, you might have a nanan or a granddad that struggles with mobility. What are you going to do with them? Are you just going to leave them? Or are you going to bring them into your house? And I think, people need to really start understanding this now, because very soon, you're going to see for the members. I've got 100 litre, well, it's 110 litres. I've got 100 litre water bowser. I said to my dad, Dad, I've got this water bowser here. I said, do you want to fill it with diesel? And my dad's like, no, I'm not going to fill it with diesel. It's just gone up. I said, yeah, it's going to go up more. So even though the price of fuel's gone up now, I told you guys to get fuel on the 28th. Even though the price of fuel has gone up significantly now, it's just going to get worse. It really is, guys. And for reasons I'm not going to go to now, I did another video about this. But that price is going to go up. However, so that's the government's advice. Now, however, as per this article here from the Daily Mail, scientists have pinpointed several key items that are missing from the government's website. So let's go through them, guys, okay? According to Robert Handfield, a professor of the supply chain management in North Carolina State University in America, households should also consider gas-powered generator. Now, we spoke about that previously. Power, energy, whatever you guys can do. We're talking about, I think solar or wind is going to be the best one, because as we're heading into this with these conflicts in the Middle East, I would not be surprised if you cannot get any fuel. Diesel, I think is going to be the one that is taken off the shelves. However, it could be both. Gas-powered generators use a gas combustion engine, meaning users would also need natural gas or liquid propane as a fuel source. When he said gas, I thought he meant diesel or petrol. Yeah, so he's talking about gas, like LPG. The price of all this stuff is going to rocket. It really is. All fuels that come from hydrocarbons, the price is going to absolutely rocket. Electricity is a fundamental need, Professor Handfield told the Daily Mail. So yeah, this kind of echoes what I was speaking about previously. It's one of those things that we always think that we can go to the petrol station, right, and just buy 10 liters of diesel, and you always think you're going to be able to click the switch and the lights are going to come on. In most of the world, they don't have 24-hour electricity. In Kiev, I think they only, in Ukraine, I think they only have like 4 hours. I think they only have 4 hours of electricity a day because, the Russians have been destroying the not for the purpose of self-defense. Some people often carry a chainsaw if your neighbor has a lot of trees. Yeah. So like I just said earlier, our house, we back onto a woods. It's not a woods. It is a wood. It's between fields, you normally get some trees, right? We've just got it's like a massive one. It's probably, it's probably 80 meters wide by maybe, I don't know, 500 meters. So 80 meters by 500 meters. And, I know the farmer, he says, yeah, no problem. If you want to go in there, take dead wood, wood that's fallen on the floor, absolutely no problems. And that is really good for us because we can, we've got that fuel supply, and I get it, not everybody's going to be the same. Now, in addition, Professor Handfield suggests that including an N95 face mask in your kit in the case of fire. Yeah, so face masks. If you guys remember the crazy time when we had to cover our faces, right? We had to cover our faces. We had to keep 6 feet apart or whatever it was. Those little paper face masks. In fact, you know what? Actually, I can't comment on the face mask, or the video will get flagged. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to say, I think through my military experience and working and doing, chemical. Am I back, guys? Am I back? I think I've just cut off. What just happened? Am I back? I don't know if I'm back. Am I back? Am I still streaming, or am I talking into thin air? Am I talking? I think I'm talking. I just think I'm talking into thin air. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, the stream. I don't know if I'm back on or not. Right. You're back. Right. I'm back, and I've just seen that Patience Pays has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Patience Pays. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that, and I hope everybody appreciates that as well. So if you've just been given a if you've just been given a gift by Patience Pays, please say thank you in the chat. So and I'm saying thank you to you as well, Patience Pays. Really appreciate that, buddy. Speaking too much truth gets you shut down. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Can you guys remember what I was talking about then when I got shut down? That was weird. I'm not going to mention what I was talking about when I got shut down, but if you guys remember what I was talking about, go scroll back and see. That's a bit weird. That is very weird. Rod Panhard is saying, I put a cheap solar... Rod, how much did that cost? Rod is saying, I put a cheap solar set on my shed roof. It's just a cheap Chinese panel and some car batteries and an inverter, but it should be enough to keep my freezer going if there's power cuts. Yeah, you know what? I totally, yeah. Like your freezers, like we have a ton of food and we keep it in freezers. Like, so like if there's, I don't know, if there's like a deal on it, Asda or Tesco's or whatever, it's like 2 for 1. I'll just buy a shitload of it. And then I'll put that in the freezer. But yeah, if your freezer goes down, you know, all of your food's gone down. So it's a massive, you know, you know, these are like life essentials, right? Because I genuinely believe, listen, guys, okay, I genuinely believe that in the United Kingdom, very soon, we are going to have mass power outages. We've already seen the footsteps, right? Whereby the electricity substations just set on fire and the government just say, oh yeah, it's just another substation setting on fire. If you guys have been following the live stream, you know, we've got people coming up on the chat saying, no, Sean, I live near that substation. There was a load of wood stacked against it, and then it got set, and then somebody set that on fire. And a lot of these substations that are, you know, a lot of these substations that get set on fire, that was a tongue twister. I don't know why, but it was. So a lot of these substations that get set on fire at the moment are near critical infrastructure. So there was one by, what was it, Heathrow Airport? There was one by Heathrow Airport. I think there was another that closed Heathrow Airport down. There was another substation that went on fire that closed Manchester. Was it Manchester Airport? No, Manchester Airport. Somebody cut a piece of cable out the ground that was supplying Manchester Airport. Now, they said it was theft, which it was theft, right? You know, it was theft. But really, the one piece of cable that powers Manchester Airport, it just got stolen, and then Manchester Airport went down. So you guys can see how vulnerable our infrastructure is. Now, in normal times, people don't want to set fire to the, people don't want to set fire to your substations because you don't get electricity. But guess what? If you don't pay for your electricity, if you don't pay for your food, if you don't pay for your water, and guess what? If your food and water does get, taken down, you probably get more money. Guess what? The incentive for you not to destroy those, vital infrastructure, it doesn't become, there is no incentive. Right, guys, I'm just going to, the Watchman is saying, Kevlar vest, NBC suit, German army paraboots, combat trousers, and 6 weeks worth of ration packs, gold watch, an electric generator, plus a solar knife. Many things what you need. Freezer costs more to run than saving on the food. It depends what you put in there, right? You know, it depends what you put in there. You know, it obviously depends what you've got in your freezer. Rod Panhard said it cost £400. Batteries were just from the scrapyard. Panels were just Chinese cheap ones, but they weren't great. Yeah, look, people try and sell stuff all the time. I don't. I've just said we've got some of those radios on our TikTok shop, so I get that. But whatever the cheapest is, I'm a firm believer, right? Get whatever the cheapest is to do the job, right? Now, a couple of reasons I go down the cheapest route. When I work away in different countries, if I'm working away somewhere, I will always go and buy a new set of clothes, like whatever the cheapest is. And then because I don't mind losing those cheap clothes. Like if you are, you know, if you have to, like, so for example, Rod Panhard's bought some cheap Chinese, you know, solar panels. Now, if Rod has to bug out of his house, it's not going to be the end of the world leaving those solar panels behind, right? However, if you have to bug out and it's, you know, and it all goes wrong and you're leaving those solar panels, it becomes really expensive. So you need to understand, you know, you need to consider what you're spending your money on. Yes, of course, the better stuff is better. More expensive stuff, you know, as a general rule, it is better. It's not always, but you get what you pay for. However, I'll give you this little analogy, right? You can buy a pair of jeans from, like, I don't know, Asda, right? Or Tesco's, whatever. You can spend like 10 quid on a pair of jeans, right? From Asda. You can also go and buy a pair of like brand new Levi jeans that are like 10 times the cost. Are those jeans 10 times better? Are they better? Yeah, of course they're better. The stitching's better, the material's better. Is it 10 times better? Absolutely not. And you can go down these tools, kit and equipment that you buy. You can go and buy a cheap multi-tool for like, again, probably a tenner, you know, or you can go and buy the new Leatherman Wave and it's what 130 quid or something. Is it 13 times better? Probably not. Is it better? Yes. So, you know, when you're buying equipment and kit and equipment, you've got to understand what the use for that kit and equipment is, how likely you are going to be using it, and what are the, what are the, under what circumstances could you lose that kit and equipment? Because let's face it, guys, we lose stuff all the time. I lose stuff all the time anyway. Oh, hang on a minute. Patience has gifted another 5 Real Raven 1 memberships. Thank you so much, Patience. Patience Pace has gifted now 10 memberships. So listen, guys, if you're on the chat, can you please give a thumbs up and a thank you? And you've just got that from Patience Pace. He's gifted 10 memberships. So thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate that. And all of you guys who are members now, in fact, it's in the house. I'm uploading a members only video where I'm talking about fuel. It's just a little, you know, it's a little perk for the members. I'm in the bar. I'm in the bar area. I'm in the rock bar, the Patriot Rock Bar and Grill. I think that video will have uploaded now, or it'll upload in the next 10 minutes or whatever. William Palmer is saying Judgment Day is here now. Sorry, Judgment Day is now here upon all nations. I am the will of the Almighty Creator and the heavens and the earth. Right, guys, can we leave the biblical stuff out for a while? Can we leave the biblical? Right, I've read it, William. I've read it. Can we leave the biblical stuff out, please? Right, William. Right, I've read it. We're doing no more. We're doing no more biblical stuff. Okay, let's just behave. Right, let's just behave, because if there's any more spamming, William Palmer is getting put in timeout. I love you, William Palmer, but any more spamming, you're going in timeout. Okay, so let's just leave it there. Let's just leave it right. He's going in timeout. Right, William Palmer, you're in timeout. Oh no, hang on. All right, hang on. Right, William Palmer. I love biblical. Oh, hang on. Right, let me get this the right one, because sometimes I block the wrong one. Right, there. Right, William Palmer, right? Stop spamming. right? Just don't spam. All right, you get put in timeout. I don't want to block anyone. I don't want to block anyone, but just like calm yourselves down, right? We all know we're in biblical end times. We all know that shit ain't real. You literally just go and look at the price at the pump. Right, guys, listen, let me jump back. Let's get back on track, okay? We're talking about Prepping 101. World War III, essential items that are backed by science. Now, the article I'm going from here, guys, is there's no 40 has significance. Israel went to Lebanon to rescue 40 skeletons. I don't know what that means. So we are talking, ladies and gentlemen, about the things that you need to prepare for a potential World War III scenario. So I want to keep this live stream relatively short, and I've already gone over the time that I allocated for this. So let me just bring this back, guys. Okay, let me just bring this back. Mad Jack is saying run. Mad Jack's saying run. I'm not sure what that thumbnail is, Mad Jack. I'm not sure if I agree with it, but whatever. So let's just go down this road, okay, real quick. I don't believe that we are going to be. So. Guys, if you've been gifted a membership, Patience Pays has gifted 10 memberships. So if you're on right now, there's 10 people. I don't know how it does it, but Patience Pays has just gifted 10 memberships. I know that's 5, but he did them in 2 sets of 5. So if you all want to just say a thumbs up and a thank you to Patience Pays, because he's just gifted 10 memberships. And I think who just got one of those memberships? Yeah. Daddy Stonehouse got one. So let me just put this real quick, okay? There's going to be a lot of faff come out on the mainstream media very soon. They're going to be talking about the likelihood of Britain being attacked by Shaheeds, Britain being attacked by Russian missiles, Britain being attacked by X, Y, and Z. Forget it. If there's going to be a country attacked in Europe, it's going to be Poland, guys. All right, it's going to be Poland. I've said this from day one. Poland is right in the crosshairs of Russia. There's zero strategic value in hitting Britain with a conventional attack. By conventional attack, I mean a drone strike. I mean a Oreshnik missile. I mean, something that you can say, yep, we've just had a kinetic strike. There's like absolutely zero significance. However, that doesn't mean Britain will not get attacked. Now, in my analysis, it makes no sense to send those big bombs over, and it makes every sense to pay criminal gangs, saboteurs, sleeper cells to set fire to substations, destroy water pipes, destroy gas pipes, cut electricity pylons, do whatever you can to the infrastructure, right? So that's where the real attack's going to come. Very soon, certainly by the end of this year, we are going to have a scenario where British boots are on the ground in Ukraine, and that will open up an absolute can of worms in the United Kingdom, guys. So we were just going through the article, and if you want to read the article I was going through, guys, it's in the description below to this video. So in short, all right, I don't think anyone's going to run out of food in the United Kingdom, although there will be food shortages. All right, we've said this quite a few times. Food shortages doesn't mean people are going to run out of food, right? It just means you might not be able to get your extra virgin asparagus from Burma or whatever. Basic food stocks, I don't think people in the United Kingdom are going to run out. I don't think we're going to run out of water either. However, I think there'll be water shortages in the context that I think the water supply will be sabotaged. And I do think that's happening already. And energy, guys, okay? If you can right now save, store, produce whatever energy that you can, that's what you really need to be doing, because the prices are going up. The prices are going to continue to go up. As Rod Panhard is saying, where's Rod? Rod, I can't find it. Anyway, Rod Panhard jumped on here and he said he's bought some cheap solar panels from China, and that's for his freezer, so at least his freezer won't go off. And these are the things that people need to understand, because it has a big knock-on effect, right? So you're prepping all your food, you're putting it in the freezer. Guess what? The electricity goes off. All your food is now perished. So, and again, somebody in the chat said, well, it's not worth, I don't have food worth that much. Again, everybody's situation is going to be different, right? Everybody's situation is going to be different. Right, listen, guys, I am going to close this down. 10 people have just been gifted. Beer will never run out. Certainly not in our house, guys. Certainly not in our house. I take grain and I take grain and yeast and I turn it into a beautiful fermented drink. So I'm going to close this down now, guys. I just wanted to let you guys know that the mainstream media are now telling people to prepare for World War III. The BBC News, was it the BBC? I think it was the BBC or Sky News this morning. They are now also talking about World War III and that people need to get ready. Listen, when it hits mainstream, it's too late. When it hits mainstream, it's too late to get your deals. When it hits, so think about what's happening with the energy right now. This will happen with everything. What's happening with energy right now? You've got 3 things happening with energy right now. So first of all, you kind of got 4 things. You got 3 things, but one of them is split into 2. So first of all, there is a genuine shortage. 20% of the world's oil is just being cut off. The second thing is, if those countries can't get their oil out, they can't produce any more oil, right? So that's going to have a knock-on effect in the future. So this is going to be a long burner, guys. And the price of everything is going to go up because everything comes from energy. The second thing is you're going to get price gouging. People are going to absolutely price gouge. Oh, the Iranians have done this. Right, we're going to have to ramp us prices up. No, sorry, lads, it's not me, it's the Iranians. Remember, when Putin invaded Ukraine in 2022, in his 2022 invasion, the energy companies had their biggest profitable year ever. What? We're all in this together. Yeah, we just have to make as much money as possible. Yeah, it's Putin's fault. Yeah, sorry, guys. Like the energy companies. Yeah, Putin's invaded Russia. It's hitting us as well. We had the most profitable years we've ever had. So you get something called price gouging. Now, when this makes mainstream and people start to really take this seriously, that they need to get ready for World War III and become more self-sufficient, people will start to price gouge. The things that you're buying now for $1, a pound if you're in the United Kingdom, or $1. I've worked away a fair bit, and normally when you're international, everything's in dollars. The things that cost £1 now will go up exponentially. So whatever you can buy now, and a rough metric, if it's something cheap that gets transported in from China or India, if oil prices go up, diesel prices go up, all that stuff goes higher. So what I'm doing this live stream now is the links below what I started with. Mainstream media are telling people now to prepare for World War III. Once this hits mainstream and everybody's doing it, those prices are going to go up. There's going to be scarcity because you're going to have everybody then fighting over the same things. So and that's going to happen. That will happen really quickly, guys. Remember what happened in 2020, right? Remember what happened in 2020. Toilet roll, pasta. It was just gone. Everybody was bulk buying, the shops. People were breaking out, fighting. Get your stuff now, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, before the scarcity hits, before the prices raise, and before the prices start to get gouged. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. Thank you once again for Patience Pays gifting 10 Real Raven 1 memberships. I am doing members only videos now, guys, for the members. It's just a little perk to say thank you to you guys, basically, for becoming members. So if you want to throw a comment on those members only videos, guys, I will always try and get those as well as a priority. Anyway, I am closing this down now, guys, and I will catch you guys now. I'll catch you guys now. I will catch you guys later. If I'm not on later, I'll be on at 8, and I bid you good afternoon. Go out and get your stuff before the prices go up, and they will go up.